directions for number 1 say, each mouse is using a property of addition. Find each unknown. Draw lines through the maze to help each mouse find the cheese with the property that matches its addition sentences. So there were 2 parts, sometimes 3. Because sometimes like here and here, and here, we had 2 separate problems. So that means you had 1, 2, and then 3 was finding the property. So our first little mouse with, what color scarf? Pink?
Mm-hmm.
Pink scarf. We have 15 plus 13 equals blank. 13 plus 56 equals blank. Zari, what is 56 plus 13? What is it?
39.
Let's try this. We have 56 plus 13. 6 plus 3 is what, Zari? You can use your fingers.
9.
9. Go ahead and leave yourself on unmuted until we're done. Let me also turn the volume up so everybody can hear you. Okay, 9. And then 5 plus 1?
6.
6. So that means 56 plus 13 is
69.
69. Well, if 56 plus 13 is 69, that means 13 plus 56 has to be what, Zari?
I know what you glitched, but I know what you mean. It's 69.
It also has to be 69 because no matter what order we add the addends in, the answer will be the same. Zari, what property tells us that?
Already have commutative.
Good. So your mouse needs to have a line to the commutative cheese. Okay. Our second mouse with a blue scarf, blue bandana. Good. Says 0 plus 63, which, let's see, Aaron, what is 0 plus 63? 63, and we know that because anytime you add a number to 0, the answer is always that number. What property tells us that? Identity. The identity property. So here's the identity cheese. That means your mouse needs to have a line to the identity cheese. Okay, our mouse right here, which has an orange scarf, orange bandana. Oh, you know what it is? It's a bib. That's what it is, duh. It's taken me like 4 years to figure out that's a bib because he's eating cheese. So he's got the orange bib. Colin, we have 62 plus 18 in parentheses plus 45. Well, how do we solve that, Colin?
We do the parentheses.
We rewrite it to the side. And we do the parentheses first, which is what, Colin? Now, a lot of times, even when it's in parentheses and you've already rewritten it to the side, you're also going to have to rewrite it to the side again because this is hard to solve sideways, right? Because you're going to have to regroup in the one after the ones place. So we're going to go to the side and write 62 plus 18. This is what you guys should have shown your work. So that means if you did not show your work, use your red pen to show your work right now. If you did not show your work, use your red pen to show your work right now because I reminded you, you needed to show your work. 2 plus 8 is what, Colin?
10.
Regroup the 1 to the tens place. 6 plus 1 is what?
7.
Plus 1?
8.
So that means 62 plus 18 is?
80.
But are we done? Is that our answer?
Nope.
No, because now we have to bring down plus 15. Now this one, can we just solve sideways like this? Are we going to have to regroup anywhere?
No.
No. So let's add the ones place. 0 plus 5 is?
5.
Add the tens place. 8 plus 1 is?
9.
So that means 62 plus 18 plus 45 is
95.
95. Now we know, as long as we have the same addends, even if they're grouped differently, what is the answer to 62 plus 18 plus 45?
95.
95. Because we know, no matter how we group the addends, the answer is the same. Cullen, what property tells us that?
Associative.
Associative. So that means we had to go from our orange bib mouse all the way to the associative cheese. If you went a different path, obviously that's okay. Okay. The mouse with the, is it purple?
Yes.
Purple bib, Kingston. We have 78 plus 0. Do we have to show work for that? No. What is the answer? I can't hear you. 78. Because we know anytime we add 0 to a number, the answer is always the number. What property tells us that? Identity. So we just need to go this short little route to the identity cheese. Good. Okay. The mouse with the yellow bib, Victoria. We have 24 plus 14. 24 plus 14 is in a group, plus 53. Well, how do we solve this? First, we completely copy the problem to the side, the whole problem. Now we've rewritten the problem. What do we do now?
We add the
Good.
parentheses.
24 plus 14. Do we need to set that up to the side? Are we going to have to do any regrouping? No, so we can just go sideways. But we still have to add the ones placed first. 4 plus 4 is 2 plus 1 is, are we done?
No.
What do we have to do now?
Drop that plus 1 and 53.
Good. Bring down plus 53. Now, can we solve this sideways without regrouping? No. So what do we have to do with this part of the problem? 38 plus 53. Write it up and down. 38. Oops, you guys at home can't see this, can you? So we'll do it right here. 38 plus 53. Victoria, 8 plus 3 is?
11.
Regroup the 1 to the tens place. 3 plus 5 is? 3 plus 5 is? 3 plus 5 is? 3 plus 5 is? Please listen to the question I'm asking. Plus 1 is 9. So that means 24 plus 14, which is in a group, plus 53 is 91. Well, that means no matter what, as long as we have the same addends, even though we have a different group, our answer is what? Still 91. Because we know, what?
Over here.
That's why. Okay, well, Helen, when you were working on that, you should have told me. That's the problem. So it's not 95.
Yeah, I was like,
So
I was
tell me. Well, then tell me that.
I was
Not.
trying
Don't
to
just
look.
keep solve.
I was
I'm
trying to
not
look.
making it up for fun. Hey, we have to go back here, Colin. As soon as you notice that when you were working on the problem, tell me. When I started to write plus 15, say that's not it. It's plus 45, because then we just solved this, and people probably crossed off their correct answer and put the wrong answer. And also now, we can't finish talking about this because we have to go back. So if you are working on a problem and you notice that I wrote something wrong, please tell me. Like, you can call out and say it's not 40. If the person who's working on it does not do this, then you can call out and say it's plus 45. Just if there's already somebody calling out there's plus 45, don't you do it too. So Colin, now we have to go back here. We can still do this. 0 plus 5 is
5.
8 plus 4 is,
12.
and we just write that, but instead of being 12.5, it's what? The answer is what?
125.
125. So the answer is not 100 or is not 95, it's 125. So make sure if you had 125 and you crossed it out for 95, well, first of all, you should have noticed. You guys gotta pay attention. Sometimes I make silly mistakes, just like you. But if I'm not, I'm just got to make sure. Okay, now Victoria, let's go back to your problem. We know no matter what pieces of the problem are in a group, as long as we have the same add-ins, we're going to get the same answer. What property tells us that? Associative. So we need to make a line from our mouse with the yellow bib to the associative cheese. Okay, last one. We have 42 plus 38 and 38 plus 42. Smith, help me out. Can we solve this sideways like we did this way, or are we going to have to do some regrouping?
We can solve it sideways.
Can we? What's 2 plus 8?
We have to solve it up and down.
Good, because we have to regroup. If you can solve both places and the answer is less than 10, that means you can just do it sideways. But if the answer is 10 or more, you have to do it up and down. So, we have 42 plus 38. That means if you did not do this, you need to. Remember, anything I write on the board, you're writing on your paper. I can't keep saying that for the next 4 weeks. I've been saying it for 4 weeks. I can't keep saying it for the next 4 weeks. You guys have got to start doing it. So Smith, let's add the ones place. 2 plus 8 is?
10.
Regroup the 1 to the tens place. 4 plus 3 is?
7.
Plus 1 is?
8.
So that means 42 plus 38 is?
80.
Good. If 42 plus 38 is 80, that means 38 plus 42 also has to be?
80.
80. Because we know no matter what order the add-ins are in, the answer is going to be the same because of which property? Smith, this is your problem.
The commutative
The
property.
commutative property. We can just draw a straight line to the commutative cheese. Okay, so Ethan, check that really quick. Number 2, the directions say write each number. Number 2, we're trying to write the number that is 1,000 less than 49,737. So Michaela, which place are we going to look at in our number if we're trying to see what 1,000 less is? Which place are we looking at? The thousands place. What digit is in the thousands place? A 9. And we're trying to see 1,000 less. So that means we're going to the thousands place and we're taking 1 away. So what would that digit in the thousands place become? 8. What happens to the rest of the numbers? Do they change? No, they stay the same. So, 1,000 less than 49,737 is what number, Michaela? 48,737. Good. Number 3, Zadie. 10,000 more than 53,502. What place are we looking at in this number?
10,000.
Confidence.
10,000.
10,000s, because we're trying to figure out 10,000 more. What digit is in the 10,000s place?
A 5.
Is it the first one or the second one?
The first one.
The first one. Now we're trying to say 10,000 more. So what are we going to do to this 5 in the 10,000s place to show that it's 10,000 more?
We're going to add 1.
Good. 5 plus 1 is?
6.
What happens to the rest of the numbers, of the digits in that number?
They stay the same.
They stay the same because we're not rounding. We're just saying 10,000 more. Good. So our new number, 10,000 more than 53,502, is what, Zadie?
63,502.
There you go. Okay. Go ahead and turn to the back. Okay, number 4. Read in your head while I read out loud. We're going to read it once just to see what it's saying. Then we're going to read it again to find the important information. Sarah and her mom are at the mall. They buy a shirt that costs $16, a belt that costs $8, and a dress that costs $22. To find the total cost, Sarah adds 16 and 8, and then adds that sum to $22. Her mom adds $16 to the sum of $8 and $22. What property of addition are they using to find the total cost? What is the total cost? So we know the important information is this. It's not really, definitely not this sentence. Doesn't really matter where they are. It's not really this sentence either. That's just telling us what happened. The important information is that Sarah added $16 and $8, then added that sum to $22, because that's what actually happened. That's how we solve the problem. We don't need to know what each item was. It is not important to know that that she bought a shirt, a belt, and a dress. It's more important to know the prices that she paid. The other important part is her mom adds $16 to the sum of $8 and $22. Then we have 2 questions. Our first question is, what property of addition are they using to find the total cost? The second question is, what is the total cost? So it's easier to find the total cost first, because in finding that cost, that's where you're going to figure out what property was used. Well, let's look at what Sarah did. She added $16 and $8 first, because she said she added $16 and $8. And then she added that sum to $22. So this is Sarah. Her mom did something a little different, but did she have different prices, class?
No.
No.
Oh.
She just added 16 to the sum of $8 and $22. So she got the sum of $8 and $22 first, and then added 16. What does that look like to you already? What property does that look like? Carla?
Associative.
What tells you that it's the associative property? What do we see here?
The two parentheses. Parentheses.
So when we have parentheses, we're showing what? We're showing
Associative property.
We're showing groups. When we have parentheses, we are grouping add-ins. Which property has the keyword group, Carla?
Associative property.
Associative. So we already know it's going to be associative property. We already know it's going to be associative property, but now we have to solve. Carla, do we need to solve both of these problems, or can we just solve one?
We need to solve both of them, but they're both the same.
So do we need to solve both of them, or can we just solve one and put the same answer for the other, because the associative property tells us it's going to be the same?
They're both the same.
Okay, good, but Carla, just wait until I finish the question. So let's just solve what her mom did because it's on the bottom so we can fit the answer better. First, we need to do what's in parentheses. 8 plus 22 is what? If you're adding one-digit numbers, you don't have to set up and down. You can just count with your fingers. So we're going to start with 22 and we're going to count up 8. 22, 23, 24, 25. Carla, wait. Remember I said wait until I finish speaking. Don't interrupt. There's a reason that I'm taking longer to answer the question. Because just telling you the answer is not going to help people who may be confused. We have to find out how we got the answer. So we're going to count up from 20. We're going to count 8 up from 22. So Carla, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29. What is it, Carla?
30.
30. Carla, keep yourself off of mute until you're done with the question. Am I done? Did it cost $30, Carla?
We're not done yet.
Because what do we have to do with this 16 plus?
We still have to figure out what is 13 plus 16.
30 plus 16. So we have to bring down that 16 plus. Do we have to do any regrouping, Carla, or can we solve this side to side? If we add both places, are they each going to give us a number less than 10?
No.
Are you sure? If we add the ones place, are we going to get a number less than 10? And
Yes.
if we add the tens place, are we going to get a number less than 10?
No.
Carla? If we add 16 plus 0, if we add 6 plus 0, is that number less than 10?
Yes.
If we add 1 plus 3, is that number less than 10?
Yes.
So do we have to do any regrouping here?
No.
So we can solve it sideways. Carla, 6 plus 0 is?
6.
1 plus 3 is?
4.
Bring down our dollar sign. That means how much did they spend?
They both spent $46.
They didn't both spend $46. They just spent $46. They just got that answer a different way. They added it in a different way, but they only spent $46 because it only says that they bought the shirt, the belt, and the dress. Okay. Let's look at number 5. Helper number 1, please say. Okay, so number 5 says, Mr. Clef wants to buy the following instruments for a band class. A drum for $362, a banjo for $134, and a tambourine for $163. Then it says, about how much money will he need to buy the instruments above? Write a number sentence to support your answer. So we have 2 questions. We have about how much will he need to buy the instruments above, and then even though this isn't actually a question, it's still something that we have to put an answer for. Write a number sentence to support your answer. This word about tells us that we're doing what, Ethan? The word about tells us we're doing what? Are we finding an actual answer? No. What are we doing? Quickly. Are we finding an actual answer? No. About tells us we're doing what, Aaron? Estimating, which in this case we're going to round to estimate. Estimate is an educated guess. Rounding is a way to estimate. They are not the same thing. So that means we need to round each of these before we can add them. So 362, did you round to the nearest 100 or did you round to the nearest 10? Because you could choose. As long as you rounded, whether you rounded to the 100 or whether you rounded to the 10, you are correct. Ethan, which one did you round to? The 100. Good. So 362 rounded to the nearest 100 is what, Ethan? 400. We're writing our number sentence because that's what it told us to do. Now, Ethan, 134 rounded to the nearest 100 is what? If we circle the digit in the place to be rounded, which is the 1, and then underline the digit to the right, which is the 3, then we look, is that underlined digit 4 or less or 5 or more? Well, it's 4 or less. So we keep our circle digit the same. Step 4, everything after becomes zeros. We don't need to do step 5, so that means 134 rounds to 100. Then $163 rounded to the nearest hundred is what? 200. So you needed this number sentence. If you don't have it, use your red pen to write it, because the second part says write a number sentence to support your answer. If you don't have this work shown with the circling and the underlining, you need to do that because you did not show your work. Okay, now Ethan, this is really easy to add, right? Each of our add-ins have how many zeros at the end? So how many zeros is our answer going to have at the end? 1, 2. Now all we have to do is add what's left. We have what? And plus. So 4 plus 1 is, plus 2 is. So that means about how much money does he need to buy the instruments? $700. Good. Did anybody round to the tens place? Kingston, you rounded to the tens place? Okay, can you help me out? It was a little bit harder, but we still got it. 362 rounded to the nearest 10 was what? 360. If you did not, you do not have to write this. This is just if you did round to the nearest 10, then you can check with this. Okay? Kingston, 134 rounded to the nearest 10 is 130. And then 163 rounded to the nearest 10 is 160. Now, because we're running out of time, we're not going to work through how to solve that, but what you would do is, how many zeros do I have at the end of each addend? So how many are going to be at the end of my answer? And then I would just add 36 plus 13, and then add 16 to that answer. So how much money does he need? 650, because there we go. Okay. Yes, Kingston.
I was doing this whole time about
I can't hear you. Okay, no, then you're okay. Just say okay, right? Okay. So let me know. Yes, Aaron, quickly.
You said we had to circle and underline on the tag. I wrote the numbers down.
That's fine. That counts. As long as you showed that you showed your work somewhere. Whether you showed it here or whether you rewrote the numbers and showed it there, that's fine. Now, explain how you rounded to find your estimate. Ethan, how did you round to find your estimate? You're going a little further than they need. All you had to say, you rounded the cost to what? You rounded each cost to the nearest, and then once you rounded it, what did you do? Once you rounded them, what'd you do to get the final answer? That's all you needed to say. I rounded. Don't cross out your answer. But if you don't have this, write it with red pen, but do not cross out your answer because you could still be right. I rounded each cost to the nearest 100, comma, then added. That's all they were looking for. But don't cross your answer unless you have nothing there. Don't cross out your answer. Just rewrite that answer to the side. Okay, last one, number 6. Everybody's going back in the cup. It says, which number sentence can be used to estimate 3,401 plus 8,342? Let's see. Sorry, I think it's having some technical issues. Ethan, I just told you again. So which one is it? Not quite. Because that means they would have rounded to the nearest 1,000. And if we circle the digit in the place to be rounded and underline the digit next to it, step 3 says this is 4 or less. So do we do anything to the circle digit? No. So that means it can't be D or C because our answer, the first sum, has to start with 3. So now let's go to the second one to see if it's A, 3,000 plus 8,000 equals 11,000, or B, 3,000 plus 9,000 equals 12,000. Well, if we're rounding 8,342 to the nearest thousand, we circle the digit to be rounded, underline the digit to the right. The underlined digit is 4 or less, so we keep our circle digit the same, which means no matter what, our answer can't be B because our second add-in has to start with 8. So that means, Ethan, the answer is what? Tell me the letter, and then tell me what the number sentence says. Louder, I can't hear you. Which letter is it? And what's the number sentence?
3,000 plus 8,000 equals 11,000.
Good. The answer is A. 3,000 plus 8,000 equals 11,000. Okay, go ahead, make sure your name, number, and date is at the top, either with your pencil or your red pen.